Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to the session. This is Sweta Roy, your English Master Teacher at Vedantu. So today I have brought to you guys sample paper solutions for ICSE Term 1. Okay, so not only am I going to solve the sample papers for all of you, I think most of you have by now solved the papers, but at the same time I would be talking about the portions, the areas where you need to focus on for preparing your for your first term, right? So of course, for the stories and the poems, there is no selection. But when it comes to the play, I would also suggest the specific areas from where the questions have come, and accordingly, what are the very important areas to be focused on. Okay, so let's get started, guys. And today's sample paper is going to be a practice session for all of you. Okay, so you will be telling me the answers in the chat. Okay, so let me see how thorough you all are for your term 1 with the help of this sample paper solution and discussions. Okay, so are you ready, guys? Super excited? Let me see the Josh in the chat, and let's begin with the very first question. Okay, so first of all, guys, I'm going to deal with paper 2 today. We will be taking up paper 1 also very soon. Don't worry about it. But today let's begin with let's begin with the literature. Okay, and please note that you have 40 marks. Okay, 40 marks. All the questions are compulsory, and 1 hour inclusive of reading time. So you are not given separately. You're not given time for reading separately. Including the reading time, you have only 1 hour. So please prepare yourselves thoroughly. Practice questions from practice questions for your uh, examination. Okay, so guys, the first question, as you can see, is from the story The Little Match Girl, and it talks about the writer of the story. It asks you to give the writer of the story. Very simple. You all must know already that the answer will be what will be the answer for this question? Who wrote The Little Match Girl? Very simple, guys. 3, 2, 1. Yes, Hans Christian Andersen. So please note that you have to be thorough with all the writers, all the poets. Okay, do not miss any. All right. So that is the first tip for your sample paper preparation. Sorry, for your ICSE Term 1 preparation. Know your authors, know your poets well. And then we have, this is section 1. We have 2 sections. Okay, no, I guess we have 3 sections. We'll see that. I think 2 sections, A and B. Okay, anyways, the second question is the vision seen by the little girl in the short story. The little match girl revealed the 4 things she needed the most. Very important, as when we were discussing the little match girl, I talked about the vision. I gave you the symbolic meaning of the visions. Please, guys, go through the session if you have missed the session, guys. Okay, and where I had talked about the vision, please go through that part, go through your text very thoroughly, and obviously give me the answer now. Okay, what were the things that she needed the most, and what do the visions symbolically represent? Okay, 3, 2, 1. Let's have a quick look at the answer. It of course represents warmth, food, love, and freedom from fear. Okay, guys, very important question. All right. So now we will check the next question. So see, guys, it is talking about the things that she needed the most. So she needed warmth to protect herself from the biting cold outside, and finally she died out of cold itself. And she saw that vision of a roasted goose, remember? So that, of course, talked about the need for food. Love, because she had that vision of her grandmother who used to love her the most, right? And freedom from fear. She was fearing that her father would be beating up if she goes to her house without selling the matchsticks. So that is why she couldn't even go to her house, right? So these are the four things that she needed the most. Please note that. Please focus on the visions. Okay? This is the question from the cage bird sings, which we have not yet completed. So I will be discussing this later. For now, just note the answer. The answer is the oppressed. Okay. The caged bird is the symbol for the oppressed. Okay. I will be taking up this poem and then I will be discussing this question at length. Okay. Next is the central message of Browning's poem, The Patriot. Very, very important, guys. What is the central message? Whenever I take up any chapter or any poem, I always talk about the central message or the theme. So, guys, please note you have to prepare yourselves accordingly. Okay? You have to know the theme, you have to know the message, because that is the question that has been asked. You also have to know the authors. Okay, so obviously the answer would be public adulation and glory are short-lived. If you remember, I had talked about this. Okay, the coming and going of the hero. Okay, that is there, and of course the mindset of the public. It is temporary. It is people are very fickle-minded, right? So that is exactly, and glory is definitely short-lived. Okay, so leaders, coming and going of leaders, that also talks about the short-lived nature of the glory that you receive, because once the hero, the person who was hailed as a hero, is the very next moment he is carried to the gallows to be executed. Okay, so very, very, very important. Next is from the blue bead. The Gujars mentioned in the story, the blue bead were obviously very, very simple question. This is very simple. The wandering herdsmen. Okay, very, very easy question, of course. Next is Sibia lingered behind the behind after the other women had left. Why? Can you tell me the answer for this, people? Okay, so yes, 3, 2, 1. Very good. The answer is she wanted to check if her little clay cups were still in the cave where she had left them. This is direct question from the text itself, so you have to thoroughly study your text, read your text. And also you have to attend the sessions to understand the text and the message conveyed, because from there also you have questions. Next, Tubal returns from Genoa with the news both good and bad. Now, this is from your Shylock, Merchant of Venice, right? So, which of the following did he not say to Shylock? That means that moment when Tubal returns from Genoa, that part you have to be very thorough about. Okay, what message actually Tubal conveys to Shylock? Okay, that is very, very important, guys. So can you actually guess from here? This is a little tricky. For this you have to be absolutely thorough with your play, otherwise you won't be able to answer this kind of question. All right, so 3, 2, 1, let's quickly have a look. That he had met Jessica, Shylock's daughter, in Genoa. This is something which he had not said to Shylock. Okay, in Genoa, he had obviously he gave the news of Antonio's misfortune. That is there for sure. Okay. He also talked about how Jessica had spent 80 ducats in one night, and that he had seen he had been shown Shylock's ring that Jessica had traded in Genoa for a monkey. These 3 pointers he had already said. So please note what all information did he convey. If you know that, you will definitely know what he did not convey. Okay, so for that, guys, that part of speech, the conversation between Tubal and Shylock, please focus on that. Next is soon after Portia and Antonio declare their love for each other, another pair also declare their love. This is pretty simple. If you know your play, you will be able to answer. They are Gratiano and Nerissa. Okay? Chalo, let's move ahead with the next question. Bassanio rejected the golden casket. Why? This is also very simple. All that glitters is not gold, right? So he knew that outward appearances are often deceptive. All that glitters are not good. Okay, very, very simple question. Next is, when Portia left for Venice, she put Dash in charge of her house. This also, I think you would be knowing. The answer is Lorenzo. She had put Lorenzo in charge of her house. Now we come to section B, which is extract based question. Now section B is extract based question from Act 3. Okay, so let us see which part is it. Why, I am sure if he forfeit, thou wilt not take his flesh. What's that good for? To bait fish withal, if it will feed nothing else, it will feed my revenge. Very, very important, because here Shylock's actual motive is being revealed. Okay. Now, the question is, where does the above exchange take place? Obviously, on a street in Venice. What is Antonio required to forfeit if he fails to repay the amount? Obviously, it is a pound of flesh. Okay? Next is, a little later in his speech, Shylock compares Christian with Jews. Very, very, very important is that particular speech. Let me give you that speech, guys. Which speech am I talking about? Let me read this extract from your play. What's his reason? I am a Jew. Has not hath not a Jew eyes, hath not a hand, organs, dimensions, etc., etc. And till, if we are like you in the rest, we will. So this is something, that speech is very, very important. That part of speech. Very, very, very important, guys, where he compares Christian with Jews, and we come to know about his prolonged hatred, because he had been persecuted in the past by the Christians, and that was the cause of his hatred. Okay, so which of the following comparisons does he not make? So if you read that speech thoroughly, you will be able to answer. Obviously, both Jews and Christians treat each other with humility. No, this is nothing. This is, of course, not what he said. They treat each other with hatred, right? That is what he said. Okay, next is, what recent event in his personal life does Shylock lament earlier in his conversation? His wife's death. So see over here, what recent event in his personal life did Shylock lament earlier in the conversation? So when you are given an extract, it is possible that you could be asked questions not just from that part of the extract which has been given to you, but from from whatever had happened earlier, and or for what is going to happen next in the play. So please look at that, the context, what had happened earlier, and what is going to happen next. So this is something which you need to be absolutely prepared with. Okay, so the answer over here would be obviously his daughter eloping with a Christian. You know that Jessica had eloped, है ना? Next, which of the following words would you choose to describe Shylock's state of mind after his impassioned speech? Again, see the impassioned speech which I told you, had not Jews eyes, etc., etc. That part of speech is very important. So it is hurt, angry, and vindictive. Yes, hurt, angry, and vindictive. And I think I had already done these questions from Merchant of Venice when I was dealing with the first two acts, I guess. Not first two acts, but second and third act when I was dealing, second act, I think. I had already discussed these questions, right? So now again, from third act, this speech has been given to you. And the question is, Portia, away, then I'm locked in one of them. I think I have discussed this already, okay? When I was discussing the first act, I had discussed this. So Portia says, I'm locked in one of them. One refers to, obviously, a lead casket. That is where she was locked. I mean, the entire game of casket, the lottery of casket. So the picture of Portia was there in the lead casket, right? A little later, Portia compares Nerissa and the rest to, okay, this is a new one. I have not yet discussed this. The Dardanian wives with tear-stained faces. So if you see the casket scene is also very, very important, guys. Okay. So there also, little later, she compares Nerissa and the rest to the Dardanian wives with tear-stained faces. When I would be doing that part, I would be discussing that. Next is, which of the following statements is not true? At the beginning of the scene, Portia urges Bassanio to wait a while. I think this part also I had done. So I think you should be knowing this answer. Tell me, guys. 3, 2, 1. Let's have a look. At the beginning of the scene, Bassanio wants to wait and take the test rather than test later because he wants to spend some time in Portia. And Portia is afraid if he chooses the wrong casket, then he would be parting away with Portia. He would be compelled to part away with Portia, right? So that is why, that was the whole idea of the lottery of the casket, right? So that is why Portia tried to delay Bassanio's test because she also wanted to spend some time with Portia. Okay, so all right. Chalo, next is, so it is actually Portia who wanted to do that, right? So next is from the Little Match Girl. So you can see from the Little Match Girl, a lot of questions have been asked. So here you have the extract based questions also. She was evidently trying to warm herself, they said, but no one knew what beautiful vision she had seen and in what a blaze of glory she had entered with her dear old grandmother into the heavenly joy and gladness of a new year. Very, very important part, guys. The last part of the story, the Little Match Girl. Please focus on that part because that is going to be how did the story end? The ending can have a lot of questions, okay? And I have also discussed at length with you the ending, okay? So who said she was evidently trying to keep herself warm? Obviously the people who found her dead, right? The vision that the Little Match Girl saw when she lit her first match. So the vision, so many questions from the vision. The visions are important. The symbolic representation of the visions are important. And lastly, the ending of the play is also very important. So please focus on these areas. An iron stove because she needed warmth, right? Next, when the little girl saw the shooting star, see again a question from the vision, okay? Earlier that night, she realized that someone was dying because her grandmother had said that shooting star means it's going to cause the death of someone, right? How many matches did the little girl light that day? Several. Okay, several matches. When did the little girl, when the little girl left home that morning, she dash. She had on an old apron and oversized slippers. So those slippers were not of much use for her because they were oversized, right? So this is a pretty simple question, direct text question. It's text-based questions. Okay, now next is the blue bead. Beside him, in the shoals, as he lay waiting, glimmered a blue gem. That's the only line that has been given to you. Who is he? Obviously, the crocodile. So the description of the crocodile is very, very important, guys. Okay. So from where the crocodile has been introduced, that is also super, super important. What was he waiting for? Very, very simple, guys. Any creature that he could catch unawares and feed on. Okay, and then we have the meaning, so vocabulary which I give you at the end of each chapter and poem also. Please note that because questions from vocabulary has come in your sample paper. Glimmered, glimmered means glittered, shiny. Okay, then what exactly was the blue gem? A piece of sand worn blue glass. Okay, that also I had discussed when I was teaching you the chapter, the blue bead. The only parts of him that was soft and vulnerable. Description of the crocodile. Please focus on that. His eyes and undersides of his arms. So these were only the vulnerable parts of the crocodile. Okay. Next is the cage bird sings. We haven't done this yet, but anyways, let us do it right now. And I will be taking up this poem, of course. But a bird that stalks down his narrow cage can seldom see through his bar of rage. The cage bird sings about the unknown things that he longs for and for freedom. Of course, he is caged, so he would long for freedom. What prevents the caged bird from flying? The narrow cage and clipped wings. So the wings of the caged bird have been clipped. I will be taking this poem up. It's a beautiful poem, guys. Very soon I'll be taking this. The caged bird is compared with what? The free bird. Okay. And who dares to claim the sky? The free bird, of course. The closest in meaning. Okay, so here you have again the vocabulary question. Seldom. Seldom is rarely. Okay, rarely, hardly, not at all, not often. Okay. Now it was roses, roses all the way. So this is from the poem Patriot. Uh, so this is the very first stanza. Okay, very first stanza of the poem Patriot. So you cannot leave out any stanza, guys. In the sample paper, you have been given the first stanza, but it can be any stanza. You can be given any stanza. Okay. The speaker is describing the scene of his welcome the previous year. Roses, roses, and myrtles mixed. Okay. Now the speaker is now dash. Now on his way to the gallows. Okay, and at that time he was actually talking about what had happened a year ago on this very day, right? The closest in meaning to heave and sway is to sink down under heavy weight. Heave and sway. Please note this meaning. Vocabulary questions. You can see there have been a lot of vocabulary questions, so please focus on that. All the images used by the poem in this stanza are visual images. Okay, you can visualize the roses strewn in his path. Okay, and his grand welcome. It is not hearing, it is not tactile, is touch. Okay, so obviously it is visual. You can visualize, you can almost see. Okay, so it appeals to the sense organ, your vision, your eyes. Okay, so that is an imagery, guys. Okay, next is the mood described in the opening stanza of Browning's poem, The Patriot, is celebratory. There's a grand welcome, celebration happening. Okay, so of course the mood is celebratory. So you have to also focus on the mood and the tone of the poems. Okay, guys, so I hope you enjoyed the session so far. If you want to join us, what do you need to do? You can check the link there in the description box and pin comment. You would be able to have unlimited live classes with fun and high level quiz questions, compete with the students throughout the world, and even the replays are going to be super interactive because you can participate in the quiz even there. Handwritten notes of the master teachers that you can download. In-class doubt solving with quality tests and assignments, plus micro courses absolutely free. So what are you waiting for, guys? Just visit the link and don't forget to use the coupon code SWREPRO because that is going to give you complete 10% discount. So these are the plans, guys. You can see that the light is for 4500 and the classic is for 5500. So you can take any of it. Okay, for classic, you will have a special doubt solving feature on mobile app. So that is going to be super helpful. Okay? And if you use the coupon code, guys, that is even reduced further to 4950. So that is the ultimate price for the classic plan after your application of the coupon code. And all the micro courses are absolutely free. Please take a note of the batch starting dates. You can take a screenshot. Alright, guys, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the session and you also understood the areas where you need to have more focus, be it the Merchant of Venice, the play, or be it your stories and the poems, right? So whatever portions we are left with, we will be covering them very soon. I will be also taking up the first paper sample questions, and I will be talking about how to prepare for your first paper very soon. Okay, so please stay tuned, guys. If you haven't yet liked the video, don't forget to hit the like button, share the video amongst your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Take care, everyone. See you. Bye-bye, everyone.